And I want you to elicit a quality that you like about yourself. I want you to elicit a quality that lifts your self-esteem when you live to it. And where you know that you are that sort of person. This is a quality you like about yourself, that you are totally certain you are that person. This is part of my identity. When you elicit that quality about yourself, it becomes a database, becomes a template for us to aim for with other elements of your life that you do want to change, right? So we're choosing one that you already have inside you. And I'll do some quick videos on self-concept model. Hello everyone, Tait here with a very quick video coming to you from Melbourne, Exhibit A, Flinders Street Station. So I'm down here just for a one-night visit. Now when I'm talking about self-concept model, I want to talk about self-doubt. I want to talk about where you abandon yourself. I want to talk about where you delete, you distort, and you generalize reality out of existence. Now we do this for a variety of reasons, and we have a variety of filters that cause this deletion because our brain can only take on so much information. And so what we have to do, we have to filter out using one really important filtering device, and that is our identity. So our identity is doing the filtering, which is a bunch of beliefs, decisions, past experiences, things that you want to make yourself feel safe with, using values, things that drive you. Meta programs, there's all sorts of other things. So there's a bunch of things that we do. And so this is why I really love some of the simplicity and some of the complexity that's inside the Steve Andreas self-concept model. He has an amazing book called Transforming Yourself. And in that, we can do a little quick exercise while I'm walking to help you understand how you delete, or more importantly, retrieve the deleted information. Just walking past Federation Square, and I think they call it the birdcage, the atrium. All right, I'm going to go up this laneway. This is very famous, this little laneway here for graffiti. Checking it out on the walls. And you can see here, it's a very famous spot here in Melbourne. I thought I'd go for a wander up here, continuing my video. Okay, so we've got this self-concept model. And the self-concept model is how we generalize our identity. So here's a really simple one. I want you to think about a really positive value you have in yourself. A positive value that you have in yourself. I'm just navigating lots of tourists here. Oh, look at this. We've got a dude who's actually doing some graffiti. That's cool. Don't normally see the dudes actually doing the graffiti. That's very cool. And so you've got your self-concept model. Back to the content of the video. And so your self-concept is about the generalizations. So part of the actual word self-esteem is about living to your values. Another way of looking at values is your qualities inside yourself, the characteristics. So when you live to your values, sorry, I'm walking too fast, I'm breathing too heavily now. Now in Flinders Lane, just navigate the road a little bit. And I want you to think about your self-concept of a value or a quality that you like about yourself. Choose one value, one quality that you like about yourself. Do that right now. Choose a quality, choose a value that you like. I like the fact about myself that I'm a curious person. When it comes to coaching, I love coaching. I love everything about it. I love exploring the human mind. I love exploring identity. And for those of you who don't know, think this fascination with identity comes from the fact that I'm adopted. So at 2 days old, I was adopted. So I think that's where it probably originates from. Not that I've consciously thought like that, but I'm pretty sure that's where that comes from. That, along with the fact that identity is the ultimate in coaching as a measure. When your identity moves, your entire world moves. So, picking that one value, that one quality that you love about yourself. Go and choose that now. For me, I love that I'm a curious person. I love that I'm a responsible person. I love that I'm a protective, in a good way, of my partner. I like these qualities about myself. So let's choose the one I like, that I'm a curious person when it comes to research. It really helps me in so many ways. So, I'm a curious person. Now, here's where we start to elicit the self-concept model. Think about your quality. I've got my curious person. Now, I'm not going to close my eyes, but I already know what mine's like. And if you think about yours, I'm going to dart across. There we go. If you think about your self-concept, think about your quality, there I am, I'm a curious person. I like that from a research point of view. So you're being a curious person, you've got your quality, and your curious person is, I think about how many, the very first question in Steve Andreas' book, how many examples do you have in your database of memories, database of experiences of being that quality you like about yourself? Because when you live to your values, your self-esteem goes up. Now, if you're not focusing on all these good memories you've got of being a curious person, focusing on those good memories of being the curious person that you like about yourself, your self-esteem goes up. So, that's the question. How many examples do you have? Now, if you say you've got, some people have 5 examples, some people have 100, some people say, I've got thousands, right? So whatever it is, there's no right or wrong number. It's whatever you say as a starting point, because we're going to go in and we're going to retrieve more examples, okay? We're going to get more of them. We go this way. Ooh, well, the cars get me. And so I want you to think about that. Your example, how many examples do you have? For me, being a curious person, well, because I've already retrieved them, I have thousands. And the next question is, how do they show up when you go and retrieve your examples out of your database in your brain? Because they're all sitting in your unconscious anyway, right? How do you extract them? So for me, I can see, there's 2 options we've got. So the very first one was, how many examples do you have? Just ask that question. And the second question is, not just how many, but do they show up all at the same time as tiny little sort of dots or images? Cool little bar over here. Or do they show up one by one like a Rolodex, sort of showing up? You can access one picture at a time. Then you think about that for a second. You got one picture at a time showing up one by one. Or you've got them all showing up as small pictures that you can see all at the same time. Now for me, when I have a quality that I like about myself, I can see a whole bunch of examples spread out in front of me as tiny little green images. And I can jump into any image I want at any time. I can jump into any of the pictures, any of the stories, any of the examples. And when I like a quality about myself, that's the similar way they lay out. It's like a grid I can see in front of me when I close my eyes. I'm not closing my eyes because I'm walking through the city. And so you close your eyes and you ask yourself, how many examples do I see? You ask yourself, are they showing up all at the same time, or are they showing up one by one? Like a Rolodex, just showing up. Like a Congo line, if you like. Oh, this one here is a very famous Melbourne brunettis very famous one. My partner loves Brunetti's and loves everything to do with going to coffee at an Italian place. It's over here, very cool. And so there you are, you've got your self-concept, you've got your number of examples, you've got them showing up either sequentially or all at the same time as small examples. Now, here's the next question, really cool. How many counter examples do you have? How many examples do you have of you not being a curious person? And this is really cool because we're getting into some very simple coaching stuff like relabeling things in the future, relabeling things as in time and space. There's all sorts of things we can do here. So that's the question. How many counterexamples do you have? So I've got 1,000, let's say thousands, let's call it 1,000 of being a curious person. So how many examples do I have of not being a curious person? Not being a person that likes to learn, and that's what it means to my brain. And what's the answer to that? The answer to that is I might have hundreds because I've labeled them appropriately. There's times when I'm lazy and I'm not curious, but it's not quite the same context. In this context, yep, there's hundreds maybe. So I'm going to say I've got 300. Oh, that's interesting. Now, this is a quality I really like about myself, and I believe I am that thing, but there's a rule. And there's a rule with a quality, if you want it to be solid, that you only want to have about 10 to 15% negative examples. Otherwise, the negatives can start to overwhelm the positive. And so if you've got more than that, there's a little system we'll do to fix that. But if you've got less than that, that's fine. I mean, you need to have the negative examples because they help you know when you're not being that thing. Because you need to know that. We can't live in la-la land, right? So you need to know when you're not being that thing, and you need to know when you are being that thing. You need to know when you're, during my example, not being curious. I need to know when I am being curious. And in the way that I value. And so that's what we call sensitivity to feedback. We need to be curious about that. We need to be curious about crazy dude on a little four-wheel bike there. We need to be curious about that. So you've got your examples, you've got your counter examples. Now here's an interesting thing. So for me, I had 1,000 with 300 counter examples. But when I'm accessing that, I'm realizing, actually, because there were thousands, I'm going to say it's 2,000 easily. I've got 2,000 examples of being the curious thing as I'm doing this to myself. So I've got 2,000 examples and 300 counter examples. Hey presto, there's your 15%. That sounds pretty good. Now, if I wanted to tinker with the counter examples of not being a curious person, well, I can go into those and ask myself, okay, of the 300, are there any that don't belong in this self-concept, that there's a different context? Because the word lazy came up. And I reckon I can lift about 20 of those examples off the 300 where it's not appropriate, where I'm relaxing. It's okay to be lazy. I'm not being curious because we don't have to be curious all the time. So I think it's a bit under 15%. That's why it feels solid, because it's between 10 and 15% negative examples to positive examples of me being a curious person. So it feels very solid inside myself. So what we're doing here is we're eliciting a database of a quality. And we're checking in with it to see, hey, is this strong? Yep, absolutely. I am a curious person. I've researched a bunch on everything to do with coaching. And is a quality you like about yourself? Yes, I do. It served me very well. And so, can I be certain about this? Amen. Yes, please. I'm in there. I love it. Okay. So there you go. That's my quality I've got. Now, one other thing I want to do before I get off this call, off this video, is the counter examples. Are they nested in with the grid of examples I had. Now, I had a bunch of examples that were positive, and they were in this beautiful grid of green little examples in front of me, in rows, in layers, and I can see them spreading out into the distance, kind of all visible at the same time, only able to access one by one. And the counter examples, I think about half of them are already integrated. So I'm going to look at, well, where are the other half? There's 270 counter examples I've got in my head. There's about 120 of them, 130 that are sitting there, 120 or 130, and they're not straight in front. Some of them are down low and some of them are up high. It's about half are not integrated. So I'm looking in my mind's eye, I'm closing my eyes, I'm looking at my database, and I'm realizing, okay, some are up high. Let's grab some of those, and one by one, let's just test them out, shrink them down, and integrate them into the database. Yep, that's okay if I do that. No, there's no resistance. So I'm going to bring a bunch more and slowly bring them all down in my mind's eye. I'm just bringing them down from up high and then into my database, which is at eye level. And I'm going to spread them out across time and space. I'm going to spread them out and I'm going to surround them by positive examples as lessons to know that I am still a curious person for the times when I was not a curious person. And so all of those are now, I'm just slowly integrating them down into my main grid that I've created inside my head. And so as I do that, I can feel the difference that I am even more that curious person, because the counter examples let me know that I'm sensitive to feedback, that I will know when I'm not being that thing and I can correct it and I can get myself back on course, because I am this person. I am this curious person. This is my quality. So as you're doing this, do this for yourself. See yourself as that person, a person that has a quality that you like about yourself. We're extracting the data from your brain. We're extracting the examples. So this is me doing it to myself as I'm walking along. So once you get this, you can start to do it for yourself. But whilst you're learning it for the first time, you probably need to concentrate. Now, why am I doing this video is because I want you to elicit for yourself, and I'll do another video where I'm not walking and talking, and I want you to elicit a quality that you like about yourself. I want you to elicit a quality that lifts your self-esteem when you live to it, and where you know that you are that sort of person. This is a quality you like about yourself, that you are totally certain you are that person. This is part of my identity. When you elicit that quality about yourself, it becomes a database, it becomes a template for us to aim for with other elements of your life that you do want to change, right? So we're choosing one that you already have inside you. We're choosing one that you are already certain about. And we're going to use this as a supercharger to move you forward. All right, guys. So I want you to go away, choose one quality about yourself, and I want you to notice how many examples you have of that quality. I want you to notice if they show up all at the same time as little pictures, or they are only coming in one by one. Notice where they are in front of you, and use that as a starting point for exploring your template. Don't change anything yet. I want you to just notice how many examples you have. Notice how many counter examples you have. Notice where they are in front of you as you think about the picture, because you store your memories holographically in space. And if you know where they are, you can start to holographically play with them. And it changes how you feel. It's so weird. All right, guys, I'm going to stop it there because I'm going to do a proper video where I'm not walking and talking, where a proper organized video coming up on the self-concept model. Such a great video, such a great starting point. And I'll simplify these down so that you all get super value from them. Elicit your own masterpiece, elicit your own quality you like about yourself, and your self-esteem will rise. Know yourself and live to your values, your self-esteem will rise. All right, guys, Matt Tait signing out, and I'll see you in the next video.